LeBoogie.
Punch the list.
Well, hello everybody, and I am very pleased after a little bit of time off that I'm able to present you all with a new podcast series. Once again, supported by Bodyboard King. Huge thanks to Toby Player and the crew there. Make sure you go and check out their new website and get yourself the sweetest deals in bodyboarding. I am launching today the Unprofessional series with the one and only Action Bronson. So what is this Unprofessional series all about, you may wonder? Well, it's kind of about celebrating those people who love the boogie but haven't made it their profession. You know, they're just everyday bodyboarders just like us, and they do other things in their life that are super interesting too. So I wanted to find a few of these bodyboarders with passion for the boogie, but also who have passion in other parts of their lives. And we dive into parts of their lives and explore things that they do. So this is the first episode, and this one has Action Bronson in it. It was recorded late at night for me, and he was just in the middle of a workout, took a break, jumped on the podcast with me, and I could not thank him enough for jumping on board. And I really think you're going to enjoy this one. So here is the Action Bronson podcast. I guess I'll officially welcome you to the LeBoogie podcast. I'm really stoked to finally get you. Yeah.
Sure.
It's been really cool as a kind of a long-time bodyboarder myself to see someone kind of like you're the most famous bodyboarder in the world now, or you're the most influential as well. And I think it's like super interesting to see
fun.
that happen. And yeah, I mean, like, how does it feel to hear a statement like that to you? What do you think of that?
Not for my skills, just for my other worldly endeavors.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not bad. I'm getting better. That's one thing.
you
In my
are.
old age, I progress quick. I feel like I'm fucking 13 years old again, learning and
Sick.
getting in that water and just like exploring everything brand new. It feels amazing. So, I mean, it's an honor to be able to represent bodyboarding and boogie. It's my shit. I've been doing it since I'm a kid. It's part of my life. You know, this isn't something that I just ran into. This is
Yeah.
something I'm pictured with boogie boards 8 years old.
Sick.
Me and my best friend Troy, as a child, we used to take trips and take our boards with us. And
Yeah.
you know, like I wasn't riding the right way. Maybe I thought I was. There'd be times where I'd have the sickest ride of my life, but you know, you didn't realize to do all those things. No one taught us. You know, we were just doing it.
Yeah.
So,
Sick.
yeah. So now that I actually know what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
there's an actual, you know, I love technique. I love things where you have to use a skill or a technique to do it. I definitely prosper with things that are technique driven, and this is something that's very, you know, there's pressure and control of your body, and it's for me. I love going
That's
head
sick.
first. Head first is where I'm at.
Exactly. And like, I think it's super interesting just to see, like, I mean, there's been so much press already about you in kind of the surfing world. And, you know, like you're on the Hot Boxing podcast with Mike Tyson, talking to Mike Tyson about bodyboarding. You know, like that's just crazy stuff to see
Next level.
a discussion like that take place. And that's what I mean, like that influence that you've been able to take this sport that so many of us have been dying to see it mainstream. You know, like everybody's been dying to get mainstream coverage. And it's so interesting to see the reactions of people who, like guys like Mike Tyson, who everybody knows Mike Tyson, asking about bodyboarding and being intrigued about it. Like, I mean, is that a bit of a trip for you to have those conversations with like a person like Mike Tyson to explore that with him? Is that a strange phenomenon on your side?
Well, just being able to be in the presence of that man, you know, growing up, he's our hero. You know, watching that,
Yeah.
I was watching him knock people out with two different grandfathers from two different places on earth. You know,
Yeah.
my Albanian grandfather, we bonded over boxing and watching Mike Tyson knock people out. My American grandfather, my English grandfather, who, you know, was a bare knuckle aficionado from back in the days, came to America in 1917. You know, like we bonded over boxing as well. And especially the biggest star on earth at that time, regardless of if you knew what he was doing, is Mike Tyson. And just the way that he's gone through life and been able to, pick himself up and get back to glory and just and retain. He's since his mind has been opened and his eyes have been opened, he's a totally different person. And you could tell when you speak to him, you could talk to that man about everything. And that's how I felt. I just love talking about things I'm passionate about. And I know he understands what I mean when, and you know what I'm saying, when you're in that tube and the water is skating over your head, it's fractaling over your head. It's like a typewriter. Each piece is falling in front of you. It's like some Matrix shit.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
Matrix. It really,
It's
to
beautiful.
tame that beast.
Yeah.
To tame that beast is something else. And, you can't, one thing about bodyboarding, boogie boarding, it's not mainstream. I don't know, man. It's hard to do anything that is nature involved, make it mainstream. It's, you know what I mean? Like it's always involving if there's swell or if there's wind. You can't play this on a court.
Nah.
And wave pools, there's the rise of wave pools and they're amazing to practice in, but there's nothing like the ocean. Even the people that shred wave pools will tell you that. But there's no doubt about it. It's been a great place. It's an arena for performance.
Is it for you at this, you said at your age, like feeling better about bodyboarding and stuff, like how old are you now, by the way? How old are you?
I just turned 38.
38. Oh, well, we're basically the same age. My birthday's in a month. So, I mean, I'm feeling older sometimes, like my body's been put through the works and I mean, you're sweating. So you've just come off a workout. Is that a safe assumption?
Just now, a real torturous workout too. And this is all, every time I'm doing this hard, torturous workout, I'm thinking about being held down by the water. What would I do? You know what I mean? And that's really trying to build this wind up. There's nothing like, the attack of the ocean, but if I have wind and I'm able to, hold myself calm under duress, I think that I'll be okay. And that's what all this work that I do is. I'm putting myself under extreme stress to come out the other side.
And is the other side like challenging yourself more in the ocean? Is that actually what the other side of all this workout is? Or is there more going on?
No, it's just me challenging myself more at life to do more than I've been doing, just to give myself my full potential, just to reach everything, to reach my maximum with everything and everything that I love. Like I'm not going to half-ass working out. I'm not going to half-ass bodyboarding. I'm not going to half-ass anything that I do ever again. I've just made that decision in life. And especially with the ocean, man, I went out there with my man, Will Scooten, who's fucking big wave surfer and just came back from Nazaré, from the contest. Like he threw me out there one day. We were doing jump offs, the jet skis, and there were 11-foot faces. I got fucking trashed a couple times. I didn't even have fins on. I was wilding. For real, there was one where it was an at least 11, 12-foot fucking face and it smashed right on me and I loved every second of it. But I know that that's not, you don't want to take those all the time.
Nah.
I feel
and
like,
cold as well.
But that was one of the first times I went back in the ocean with a little confidence, So to get into the ocean and have the confidence to do that and be thrown around in that capacity and still have a bunch of good rides. So, and also I went to my man, John Mangini. He's one of the best riders out here on the East Coast. He took me to Jenks and, we were in the water for about an hour 20. It was unbelievable. Onshore winds. What's the wind that's coming? The wind that's going towards the ocean. Onshore?
Towards offshore.
The offshore wind was it was like sand blasting my face.
Yeah.
Like blasting me with sand. And I got caught up in one of them and I got spiked straight down and just tucked and curled at the last moment. I was like, I'm getting the fuck out of the ocean. I had like 2 good rides that day. But that's just the way it is. I wasn't ready. But that you just push yourself. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, with your riding, I mean, it has been clear that there has been this really steep progression in the last couple of years, since the content's been coming out and you're kind of shredding weight off you every month you kind of look like you're losing and it's kind of obviously making it all a lot easier to do and more confidence in the water. And, where do you want to take this? What's the end or there probably is no end, right? But like, where do
There's
you want
never
to
an
take
end.
this bodyboarding in the next year or two? Like, what do you have in mind? Are there any plans?
I mean, I do have plans. I want to kind of help progress it forward. I kind of want to do like an East Coast contest to try and help riders
Sick.
come through, bring some people out, make it more of a thing. Celebrate it a little bit more. A
Beautiful.
lot of top riders have always, they've been hitting me up, and I've been hitting them up to see what's up to ride. Like Mike
Mm.
Stewart, fucking. We were talking, me and Tanner McDaniel out. When I was in LA, I was out. I went to Newport Beach and I was just looking at the wedge, and he was out there, and that was the couple of days where he was just out of control at the wedge,
Yeah.
And this was just like a month or two ago. So I talked to him. I wasn't ready to go to the wedge. You feel me? Like
Oh,
Pierre
yeah.
Louis
Fuck.
Sanchez always, they invite me to Portugal. Like Armin is my godfather in this. Like he brought me back into the world. He came over to my studio, fitted me, fucking made everything happen for me. Literally, he got in touch with Pride. They got me suited with boards. I have a board coming out with them that's for bigger men, because not everyone that loves the ocean and rides bodyboards is fucking 135-pound model or 160
Exactly.
pound model,
Yeah.
250, I'm pushing 255 of rock, and there's guys that look like me and that are taller than me that want to fucking ride, and they need something to support them. And I feel like my board, it's a fucking magic carpet.
Mm. No, it's
So
really cool.
Pride has really stepped up, and they're great people, and they've given tremendous stuff. Everybody that's been taking care of me, Hyperflex wetsuits, fucking bodyboarding sent me a bunch of fucking fins. I've been getting a bunch of stuff from a lot of people, and I appreciate it all.
Yeah, there's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for you in the community. I know that much. It's
all
but I mean,
reciprocated. It's all love.
yeah, but that's really cool. I mean,
my boys from Snot Nose,
yeah. It's really cool. My interesting East Coast claim to fame that I can share with you is that it's at Long Beach, is it? Up near New York there? That's the only competition I've ever won. International competition was at New York. So that's my claim
beautiful.
to fame on the East Coast. Yeah.
It's amazing.
And a really interesting experience because like when you grow up in Australia and you're riding, the beach is different in New York and on the East Coast. Like I didn't even believe there were waves there until I was on a plane to compete there. And I was like, we went to Jenks as well. We had a couple of competitions at Jenks Beach, and it's just such a trip to see that there's this community over there. And it's so hardcore because you guys are always dealing with the elements, like it's so hardcore when it comes on,
I think I went in the water one time in the summertime. We wait till the winter.
Exactly.
I'm a winter rider, man. Like I'm ready to go now. I'm just waiting on my new wetsuit to come in, and I'm back in. I'm back the fuck in.
Great.
You know what I mean?
Great.
I'm ready to go. And like I've been to beaches all around the world, and I swam in many different bodies of water.
Mm.
I'm trying to think if it's been every ocean. I think it's been every ocean.
Yeah, beautiful.
Where's
the place on earth that you want to get to? Like where's like a wave that you kind of look to in your kind of mind today that you see that might be achievable in a year's time for you with your kind of level that you're working on? Like is there any place that you've got your eye on that you want to kind of get to and experience yourself?
I think that my skill level now is at the point that if there's a manageable day that I'm ready to go pretty much anywhere. I don't know. I've never ridden any reef. I need a little bit of pointers on that type of thing. I've only, I don't know. I'm dumb. So I think I'm ready to go wherever. I have to be held back. I need somebody to tell me, nah, dog, this isn't it. Or you tell me, nah, let's go, let's do it. I need to be, coached a little bit because I'm not really sure. I feel in my heart I'm ready to go, but I see where Armin is all the time and Sintra in Portugal and shit like that. I feel like I can handle those days,
totally.
Especially in front of all the homies. Like, I want to make sure I'm on point.
Yeah.
I think that there's no doubt about it, being in the water with, people that I love and people that I respect. And there's, like someone like Armin is giving you, he's helping you while you're in the water. Other dudes, they're just riding. You know what I'm saying? Like he's he's coming over to you and helping you out, like my man Will. Sometimes it's annoying, but it's him teaching. You know, like he'll come up to me after everything and explain. But I like analysis, but I don't want paralysis by analysis, you know?
Yeah.
So it's more like, all right, fuck it, no more talking, let's just go.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah, I reckon Portugal's got to be high on the list for you. But you know, like it's like
I
anywhere.
think
Like I'm sure. Yeah.
it's close though. I'm going to Europe, so I'm bringing the board. There's no
Yeah.
doubt. I'm
Sweet.
running 2 fucking boards.
Yeah. Sweet. Sweet. That's good news. I mean, I think
But,
everyone will be stoked when they see you get out there too. Like it's a good community in Portugal too. Like there's a real solid bodyboard community there. So you know, you'll be right at home.
like I see
Yeah,
every
that's
wave.
rad.
All these waves are crazy, man. Like I would love to be able to ride, you know, the North Shore with Mike at some point, you know,
Mm.
on a manageable day. You know,
Yeah.
I'm comfortable in the water with that man. I know he's not going to let anything happen to me. If something happens, they'll be on it right away, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's it.
you don't want to just be with anybody, especially if you're going to tackle shit for the first time.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
not, for me, I don't give a fuck about a camera, this, that. This is for me. This is what I do in
Mm.
life. Like, I've been out in the water millions of times where no one knows. I do things
Mm.
I don't put out there. I put, you know, there's certain things you do, but when it's something that you do for real, you don't have to broadcast it all the time. So always know that
Yeah.
I'm in the mix.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of broadcasting, I did want to bring up the outstanding video that was probably my first introduction to you, and it's my go-to when I share, you know, who is Action Bronson to people who don't listen to hip hop or to your music and who don't follow bodyboarding either, so they got no clue. And the best olive oil and bodyboarding video ever made was released by you,
Nice.
and it's like it's got nearly 400,000 views. And like I watch it, like I've watched it many times, and I still cannot fully understand what's going on in it. Like, how did you? Is this all your creation? Is that your mind just making this really interesting piece of work happen? It's a complete mind bender for me. Like, what's it all
Thank you.
about? What's the inspiration?
You know, I love to bring to the forefront my passions, and I like to do
Yeah,
them in interesting ways and mash them up in ways that might not ever been mashed up before. And that's definitely one of those ways. And I think that everything makes it something unique. You know, it's something that's is never going to really be seen before or after. You might see it after because a lot of people try and mimic it, but you know that wasn't a great day. Me and Norman were, you know, it wasn't a huge day. It was fucking shitty. It was choppy.
oh
He
yeah,
rode pretty good. I was shitty, but we had fun. That was what it's all about. Just get in the water and just get
totally.
used to it a little bit, you know? And the
Yeah,
olive oil is something that, you know, it's the lubrication of life. And flute flute is something like Zelda or like Mario, you know, you're always following a
yeah,
flute. It's like a temptress, you
yeah.
know? It makes the serpent dance.
Sweet. Sweet. It was really I loved it because like I dig the zoom in on the spray through the nose, you know, like those little touches that were just
Oh yeah.
that just send me into hysterics every single time when I see it. But it's brilliant work. I mean, like and like I've kind of gone through a bit of your catalog since I knew that things were coming on and we are going to eventually get on a call together. And you know, I couldn't stop watching Easy Rider, the film clip. And I mean, is that another example of is that a lot of that your creation, the way that that's presented in the film clip? Like, is this the mind of Action Bronson? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, what's happening
Absolutely.
in there? Yeah,
Anytime you
like, is
see
it?
anything I do, know that I'm the most hands-on that I can. Me and my friend Tom Gould from NZ, he's actually
Yeah,
he's extremely talented
mm,
videographer and photographer. He was one of my first collaborators and good friends from early on. And
mm,
you know, he gets it, and that's the vibes that
mm.
that song gave off. And we talked about it, and he brought to life exactly what the song vibe gave off. You know, and it was, you know, it was a great collaborative effort. I always love collaborating with Tom because, you know, we're one of the same. You know what I mean? We understand each other what we're looking for.
Yeah, and
But
so when
that's one of the prime examples that, you know,
yeah,
just everything that you see, that acting crazy, do
yeah,
rag versus headband, you know, all these things, they're just chapters of life. You can see this, you can see it from 2009 till now. and it's not slowing down. It gets crazier and crazier.
That's great. I mean, is this like, in terms of getting into your process, or is it just literally like lightning bolts of inspiration, or is this stuff that you're developing over weeks, or where does it come from?
It's just a mixture of everything. It's just experiences of life.
Yeah.
You have to have lived to be able to talk about certain things, and if you don't, you don't. You're not going to know what I'm saying.
That's fun. It looks like you're having a hell time. Like, are you having fun like 24 hours a day?
I love life. I'm a father. I live a dad's life. I live a husband's life. I live an artist's life. I just live. I live the way I live.
Yeah.
I'm just happy.
Yeah. What are the like, there must be the odd challenge to it all. Like, do you find like, how do you deal with challenges? Do you just kind of grunt up and get through it, or like, what's the secret? Because you're prolific, like you've managed to kind of create so much, whether it's through your cooking, through your music. Now you're on this exercise journey and it's just full steam ahead. Like, how do you deal with any setbacks along the way? Like, what's your process, or how do you navigate that kind of stuff? Because we all deal with that shit.
You just got to know that you're going to come through it. I don't know. There's no way to tell somebody how to, think or make their mind solid or concrete. You just have to be built like that. But there's ways that, you just can't get down on yourself. I don't, as far as setbacks, you just got to do the work to get back. You can't be lazy, because it's not going to just happen no matter what. If you have a setback, you're not going to get back to normal by doing nothing. You have to do the work, So just as far as being prolific and being able to put a lot of output, I'm just, like I said, man, I don't know. There's just a lot in me, and it's never ending. I could only imagine if I had a 24-hour team. This is all done sparingly throughout years. I could only imagine if I had someone around all the time.
Yeah, right.
It might get boring and tedious, but who knows? It's never boring. It's never a dull moment. But
It doesn't look dull from the outside.
Nah, not everything is to be shown.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool. I mean, can I ask, what was the workout you just did? Because I actually wanted to ask that question a bit earlier. Like, what have you just done before you got on this podcast?
Oh my God. Did intense shoulder work, and then a ridiculous cardio. What is that called? Like a course, like almost we set up a course in the studio.
Yeah.
Almost a sniper's course. This is for hunters. I don't hunt, but my friend hunts. So you take the kettlebells and you do something called a sniper that I invented. And then you run to the next station. You do 30 seconds on the bike, on the Aerodyne bike, as hard as you can, push for 30 seconds. Come off, do another heavy set of the snipers, then come off and do another heavy set of shotgun holds with a club, with a 40-pound club. Then you drag a 150-pound bag across the room to the assault treadmill. Then you sprint for 30 seconds. You grab the 2 lacrosse balls. You run back to the middle of the floor. You do 10 grenade push-ups. 1, bite the pin, throw. 2, bite the pin, throw. Get up from that. You take a 180-pound sandbag. You lift it over your head 2 times. Throw that down. You pull the rope 100 times from the top. The never-ending rope. And then that's 1. We did that twice.
Shit.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted listening.
It was exhausting, but it was good. Like, I tell him I had a double espresso. I feel fucking tremendous. Like, I could keep going.
Yeah.
For sure.
Can I take you back in time again? You touched on the 8-year-old you getting into boogie boarding back in that time. How was that introduction to the boogie? What happened? How did you find yourself laying down on this foam craft in the very beginning?
Because on the beach, I think in Long Island, there was not many surfers from what I remember. No one was just surfing on the beach. but I do remember people coming through with this crazy multicolored shorter board with a thing that was wrapped around their arm and some fins, and it was just all these accessories, and it looked fucking sick. And I
Mm,
wanted the same thing. I wanted that.
mm,
And I
mm.
watched how they were doing it. I bought one. My mother bought one at either Jones Beach Field 6 or Robert Moses State Park gift shop. And that was that. I might have even gotten one at Modell's at the time. They were selling them at Modell's, which was like a
Mm.
athletic store in New York, or Sports Authority.
Yeah. And where were you living at the time? Was it like a commute
Always
out to the
Queens.
coastline? Yeah.
Queens is on Long Island, which is
Mm.
right on the ocean. I'm 10 minutes away from Rockaway Beach. I'm
Amazing.
40 minutes away from Long Island, which is Jones Beach, 45 or 50 minutes from Robert Moses. So beach
That's
life is
great.
normal for me.
That's amazing. That's
Every
amazing.
day
And
in the
so,
summertime growing up.
yeah, right. And we like in Australia, we're kind of a bit lucky. We kind of get to go before school and after school and stuff like that. Were you kind of getting up for the earlies and stuff in New York and all that kind of stuff, like in Queens, I should say?
Yeah, my mother would get us up. We would leave 6 o'clock. We would go get bagels and we would head out there and we would stay there all day.
Amazing.
We would stay there all
Amazing.
day long. I'd be in the water from 6:37 whenever we got there until 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Crazy.
Whether
Is
it
it
was
was
just
it something that
in the
you carried into your
park.
teens? Like, did it go with you into your teenage years?
No, it didn't. It didn't come into the teenage years. It didn't come into no. It was more just when we were kids. My mother would take us every day, and then I stopped going to the beach altogether. I was just, I don't know. I was just in the street growing up,
Mm,
just fucking not worried about going to the beach like that or even
yeah,
bodyboarding. But I always, whenever there was a chance and we were at the beach, I would always pick the board up.
yeah.
Just to fuck around, just to be on it.
Mm, mm.
But yeah,
And
it hasn't been until when I was in Hawaii last time, maybe 2014, was I picked up a board for real, and I told my cousin, I was like, yo, please, I need you to make me a board because I was fucking huge as hell. I need
mm,
something that's gonna hold me. And my cousin Joe from Rockaway, Joe Falcone, who's a Rockaway legend, he makes amazing boards.
yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, he's a sick shaper. He made me this. He made me this like this fucking what's the word? What do they make the boards out of?
Polypro or foam?
Nah, not bodyboards, surf.
Oh, like the
Like
polyurethane.
like a
The
glass, like fiberglass fucking board. It's heavy as fuck.
yeah, right,
If I would
right.
have got on that shit, I would have killed myself or fucking killed someone else. If that hit me in the head,
Sick.
it's over. It's fucking
Yeah,
crazy.
right.
But Ben Gravy, he was able to
Yeah,
shred it. He was able to shred it real good, not me.
yeah, right.
Well, not until I
That's
started
classic.
losing weight did I get back on the board and really feel comfortable about myself.
Mm.
It was
I mean,
September.
but
It was September of 2020. We
yeah,
did a
right.
video
So
with Ben. We did a video with Ben and Armin. We went to the box in Rockaway, and it was a pumping ass day. I wish I had good skills that day because it was fucking killing.
yeah,
Pumping. Oh man!
that's sick. That's
But
sick.
even
Is
the
it
ways that
like
I did cash, even
mm,
whatever I did do, I wasn't going sideways. I was going kind of sideways, kind of forwards, but it was still
yeah,
fun as.
that's epic. That's epic. I mean, I think like you've really simplified the experience for so many people too. Like it's really easy to get carried away with the tricks and the bigger and better and all that kind of stuff. But I think that maybe I guess my take on it is like your
I like
appeal
doing
and
the
your
tricks
ability.
too.
I know, but you've just made it like the bodyboard
Polo
is this
polo.
achievable craft.
Yeah, it is. It
It
is.
is
But
for everybody.
I'm also at, in my mind, I'm a superior athlete.
Yeah,
I
sure.
could do things athletically that a lot of people can't do.
Mm,
Skill wise, athletic, I could play every sport. I don't have the height for this, but I could definitely learn to play any sport and
mm,
do it with somewhat grace. This is
mm.
what I believe in my heart.
Yeah. That's true. I mean it's like it's a simple craft though, you go across, you go straight, like it's a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Um what are you watching? Like you said you were checking out Tanner, at the wedge and you were like are you watching the
Watch
content like
everything.
at the moment?
I
Yeah.
watch
So
everything.
who are you digging the most? Like, what are you enjoying the most, and who's really kind of hitting the mark for you?
I love Maxim Castillo. I
Oh
love,
yeah,
I love, I love Andre Bota.
yeah.
Toro is sick. I love Tristan Roberts. I love PLC is my guy. He's fucking out of control. Mike
Mm,
is like watching fucking God on water. He's just so perfect, you know?
yeah.
But there's so many good riders out there. It's really, it gets overwhelming. Like I love Isabella Souza. I love, there's just so many sick fucking riders. It's hard to even keep on naming everyone because I'm gonna miss people that I don't want to miss. You
No, but
know,
I wanted to do that because I want them to know who got mentioned and who got a miss.
they jump so all the time, and there's so many sick riders that I love. There's just so many dope people. But
Do you like the competition aspect of it? Like, do you ever tune into the comps and
oh,
watch all that kind of
Henri
stuff?
Laverne,
Oh yeah,
he's
he's a
out of
weapon.
control. He's
Yeah,
like, I wish I had a body like him.
we all do.
He's like Jean Claude Van Damme, but better. Like he reminds me of like some sick martial arts dude.
Yeah.
Louis Finnegan, I've been watching him. He looks like he's fucking straight up jacked now. He looks like a gorilla.
Honestly, I went rock climbing with him about a month ago, and
That's what I'm
I
saying.
couldn't even
Rock
get my
climbing,
arms
I watch
around him.
that shit. Rock
Yeah,
climbing, bro, that's one of the hardest things to do, and he's doing that shit with ease, man. That's
I
very
know.
impressive,
Freak.
especially after a hip replacement.
Yeah, exactly.
A young hip
It's
replacement.
yeah,
This sport is
yeah,
tough on your body. That's why you do those aerials and you do all those fucking flips, land on your
yeah.
back in a weird way. It's just kind of fucked.
No, it takes its toll. It takes its
It
toll. I
does.
mean, it's really cool though. I think what the cool thing about Mike though, and some of these other guys who, and even Jeff Hubbard as well, who's
Jeff
he's in his
Hubbard,
late 40s now.
Dean
Like,
Campbell.
yeah, they're getting
Yeah,
it all
like,
together. Like they're kind of keeping it together at that older age. And I mean, it kind of does say to me, and I mean, for you, we're the same age. So it's like, there is no reason why we can't do really exceptional things in the next 10 years. Like there's nothing really stopping us, only
no,
ourselves really, and how we treat our
as
bodies.
long as-
So,
yeah, exactly. It's really about the training. It's about the training. And I see
mm,
what teams do. They're doing specific hip power hinges and stuff like that, and a
mm,
lot of mobility work. That's what I
mm,
pride myself on these days. I do a lot of hinging. So my
yeah.
legs, I felt it the last time I was in the water. My legs are so fucking powerful. It's like twin Yamaha turbo engines in the motherfucking water. I swear. That's how I feel. Twin
Sick.
Yamahas.
That's some powerful kicks right there.
Yeah, I feel good. But
That's great. When
yeah,
was your last surf? Where were you when you went for your last boogie?
the last boogie was in the pool with my man Will. It was
Sweet.
just it was in the pool. I haven't been in the ocean for a while.
Mm.
I'm still waiting on my suit. My wetsuit and all my gear magically disappeared, and I only have a very thin suit, like a winter short one. And,
Ah,
I mean, like a summer one. I can't
yeah.
wear that right now. I need my 4.3 with the hood.
Yeah, sure.
And I just got the booties. I have fins finally that fit me nice, that I feel good about. These Viper ones.
Mm.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, they're good
Sweet.
because I went through a bunch of different ones. The Pride ones were amazing. The Vulcan ones, Churchill's, just nothing. My foot, you know what that feeling when your foot just gets sucked dry and it goes numb? It's like
Yeah.
it's like from just kicking nonstop, that middle of your foot just gets a ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is like free and gentle, but still powerful and stiff at the same time. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened.
What are you using? The Viper Deltas? Are those the ones? The
I don't
Churchill
know,
shaped
man.
ones?
They're real sharp. They're real sharp.
Yeah. They're the Deltas. That's the ones
Those-
I'm using. Funnily enough, yeah, like I've tried to get the right pair of, like, fins are hard to get the right fit, like it's the hardest thing to figure out your whole bodyboarding life, like,
My fucking foot is a little wide, so it's the pocket, and it's not just wide; it's a little bit, thick up top,
yeah.
towards
Yeah.
the ankle area. So it's like you got to find the right ones that are soft, and it's it's a fucking
Exactly.
science to break them in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that pool that you've been surfing in, I've seen a bit of content from it. This is the one in New Jersey, is it? Is that the
Yeah.
one in the mall?
Yeah, it's in the fucking mall, bro.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the mall, right? Like
It's
people are
in the middle
shopping
of
and
the
they can just
mall.
watch you guys in the water just
Well, nah,
directly down
the
below.
wave. It's funny enough because it's like a DreamWorks wave pool for kids during the day, and at night,
Yeah,
my man Will Scooten took it over, and they have the perfect swell situation in there, so it's able
yeah,
to. It's made actually for waves, and
yeah,
come up with these things to manipulate the wall and get the bounce off it to make some sick ass shit.
yeah, right.
He has waves that you could perform on for real. Like, I mean, when it's freezing and flat,
Yeah,
you're good to go. It's
of
85
course.
and it's firing in the pool.
Have you got? I noticed that you announced it.
I've treated it as cardio. I've caught a
Yeah,
hundred waves in a 2 hour session by myself. Every
yeah,
2 minutes, you catch it, you go back, paddle. It's one
yeah,
of the. I've lost 10 pounds from one session. It's a
yeah,
crazy cardio. Now, if you treat it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
swimming and cardio,
It's funny the urban surf pool, the one that is in Melbourne here in Australia. It's like
is that
I
the
don't know
one
if
with
you've
the
been to one of those
plunge?
ones.
Is it the plunge?
Uh nah, it's kind of like the perfect swell. I'm losing their name though. Wave Garden. That's the Wave Garden one.
Is it the
And
one that's
it's
both sides, and you get a left and a right, or is it?
exactly, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's that kind of shape, a
yeah,
big triangle. Anyway, it's just a funny setup because I don't know what it's like in that perfect swell one, but there's 12 waves in a set. And so they're kind of rotating the position. So the paddle back out, you're kind of really racing because the waves aren't exactly the same in the set.
yeah,
Like if the second
exactly.
wave's better than the first one. And so
Second
there's
wave's always
still,
better.
I know, but it's really funny because one of the things that I thought was going to happen in a wave pool, like environment, was I thought that everyone was going to be really respectful and like everyone was going to like wait their turn and just kind of like go through the conveyor belt, and but it doesn't work like that, and then everybody's trying to manipulate the positioning and stuff like that. So it's a super funny environment to play around in. Like it's definitely
Good
not clear
thing
cut.
I have it by myself when I go. It's
Yeah,
just me and I bring
totally.
one of the homies or two of the homies. That's it. We don't do it with a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
We're not doing the public session.
Nah, you don't want to do that. I mean, I was doing it with friends as well. They were hard enough to work with. But
Yeah, I
have you
mean,
looked at
yeah,
Texas? Have you got anything in Texas coming up? Like, have you looked at the BSR park and
100%.
like
I'm gonna
because
try and
because
go.
that wave looks exceptional.
I was meant to go for past couple of times, but I have a show coming up in Austin, Texas, and I mean
Yeah,
Austin,
sweet.
Dallas, and Houston. So this definitely gonna make it to Waco for that.
You got
I'm gonna
to.
try
You
and
got
book it
to.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks legit. I mean, it's definitely another league compared to the other waves that seem to be out there at the moment. Um,
Cool.
I wanted to quickly double back on something. So you mentioned the board coming out with Pride and this kind of bigger guys board that's going to make it easier for people, to engage with bodyboarding and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
what's the plan on that? Are you gonna, you're doing a campaign around it? Are you going to release a
Yeah.
new song to go coincide with it? Is there some kind
What
of
we're gonna do is I'm gonna try
what's
and get
going
in the
on?
water soon and perform on the motherfucker and show them.
Yeah,
Put a new song from my new album because it's called El Cocodrilo Turbo, the same
yeah,
name as the board. I am El
sick.
Cocodrilo, you know. So for me, this is once again we're not. This is not for benefit. We're actually going to be donating the money. We haven't figured out what cause yet, but it's going to have to do with. I'm going to put it back into bodyboarding in some sort of situation to
Sweet.
come from this. But yeah, this is not a money grab. This is literally just you know this is just something dope to do and giving people a
Yeah,
chance to have something really really cool. And it's
yeah,
not like
totally.
to say like a bigger man's board. It's not like a fucking handicap board where you need like the shoe with the bigger thing. But this is what it just has mesh. It's
Yeah,
reinforced. It has radial flex, so it's like this. It's made extremely well. It's buoyant. It could hold up to
yeah,
like
totally.
260. You know what I mean? 260
Yeah,
easy.
yeah, sweet, sweet. I mean,
So
I
it's just
like,
it's just reinforced with the mesh. And I feel like you need that anyway. Cold weather, you need a little
yeah,
flex. You need a little mesh.
yeah, yeah. No, but it's funny because, like, if you look at this board, we were talking about it before we kicked off the podcast, and like, these boards back in the 80s, they're quite a few mil thicker than what we kind of the standard board is today. So like,
For
I feel
sure.
like bodyboarding kind of refined itself to kind of rule out a lot of people. It became a bit exclusive because the
It
boards
really
weren't
was,
really
bro.
fitting everyone.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Like I've been taught, one of the things I've been thinking about for years now is how to like make boards that grandmas and grandpas can get in the water in and actually perform. So with the Pride board, you're gonna release this. Is it going to be internationally available? It's going to be all over the place.
I believe so. We
Sweet.
haven't figured that one out yet. I mean, I would imagine. I couldn't imagine how. No.
Yeah.
But remember, they are based in France, so
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet. I mean, what is really cool about it? You say you want to do it to a cause. I mean, when you spoke about trying to support bodyboarding on the East Coast, like, I mean, what do you want to do there? Have you had any thoughts on what you'd like to do? I got plenty of them for you.
I mean, I have like the most that I could, the furthest that I've been thinking of as far as just creating some sort of contest where it's a festival / contest. It's an annual thing where, you bring the top riders out. You also do like a what's that? Like a novice pro-am, some shit, where you just get everyone involved. You get everyone in the water at the same time with,
Yeah.
just finding new ways to incorporate fans and fucking, just tiers of things. You know what I mean? But for the most part, just like a food festival, music, ocean.
Sweet.
And ocean cleanup.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. Like you want to kind of keep it, like I sense that you really want to keep it in the ocean. Like even though, like the wave, the ocean's it's a difficult beast to tame and rely on, like it never really always delivers. I mean, have you thought about looking at the wave pools to do something that's more captive, or is that not really your vibe?
No, there's no doubt about it, but it just has to be right, It has to be right. There's more to come. Yeah. There's more to think of. I can't think of shit on the spot, but yeah, there's more to come.
Yeah, sweet. That's really exciting. It'd be good to get back there. It's a good part of the world, and I think everyone really has a good time over there. Yeah, that's sweet. Well, I mean, look, I've managed to grab you for 40 minutes, and I reckon I've been pretty lucky to achieve that much. So, I mean, I think it's I'm really stoked with everything you're doing in bodyboarding. It's
appreciate that, brother.
I don't know if you've listened to any of the podcast episodes. Don't answer that question. It might be embarrassing, but like there's a lot of I've had a lot of interviews with guys in bodyboarding, and one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is talk to people who aren't kind of professional in the sport, but who do other things really cool, but love bodyboarding. Because one of the things I've learned through interviewing all these professional guys is like it's been really hard to be a pro. Sorry?
Is there anyone else that's of notoriety that's into it that I would know?
Who isn't a professional?
Yeah.
Well, one person I'm chasing is Sam Worthington, the actor. He's an Australian actor. He was in Avatar. You know Avatar, the film?
I know it. I haven't seen it though.
Oh, you got to. It's a classic. Anyway, he's a pretty big time Australian actor, so he's on there. But I interviewed Armen because he's doing cool shit. Like he's got this whole career around his photography, and
he's a tremendous photographer. He's been around forever.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've been talking to people who are doing kind of other things outside of bodyboarding.
I didn't know that fool took all these pictures, man. Like he's taking some crazy pictures.
Yeah.
Throughout the years that I know very well, and it was this fucking guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny. He mentioned that in the podcast. Yeah. So but it's been cool to talk to people who, like, I spoke to this girl from the Canary Islands who's like, she's a vet, and so she looks after animals, but she just loves bodyboarding, just absolutely loves it. Another young guy from Australia who's a musician, just traveling around doing gigs, and he's always like able to go and score waves in like all these different places because he's always got his bodyboard with him when he's doing the gigs. And so, yeah, it's been really fun. It's been really fun to talk to people because what I'm learning is that everyone who hasn't been a professional bodyboarder, like really, really loves bodyboarding and doesn't have any like beef about it. Whereas everyone who's tried to be a professional at it, they love it, but it's also had this, relationship which has, some disappointment, and it has like all these setbacks, and because it's been a hard sport to try and make a career out of.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the
You
thing
have
I'm
to
trying to
love it.
achieve.
You have to really
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Well, the
Imagine
thing I'm trying to achieve is to get that
Yeah.
message across, Yeah.
But
And I
there
think you're
should be
doing
more.
it.
There should be more money in it, and I think that there's a way to bring it in. You just have to put it more in the forefront. I think that there's a way to include shit, and I just have some ideas that I'm gonna try and flush them out in the future. Try and help
Beautiful.
this shit out.
Beautiful. Well,
help
I know
push-
that
push
bodyboarding's
the-
going to appreciate it.
That's my life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All
love,
right,
brother.
Action. I
Take
really
care,
appreciate it, man.
Talking
Yeah,
to
you too, man. See you in the
Be
water
safe.
sometime.
You damn right. I'll come out there. I've been in the dangerous waters of Western Australia. There's no doubt about
Good
that.
stuff.
All right.
Cheers,
Be safe.
man.
Peace.
You too.
LeBoogie.